Hello and welcome to another AIC Productions video. Sorry for the mess that I'm in. I've rearranged my office 3 times the last couple weeks. I just got back from a really long road trip and I'm tired. But I wanted to respond to some videos I've been seeing online about Lenovo on their most recent laptops getting rid of the external battery or the easily removable battery in their Thinkpad laptops. And I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on that and kind of get your reaction, because I don't think I share some of the prevailing thoughts on that. So I am a Thinkpad aficionado. This is my X250. This is my 25th anniversary. My wife has an X250. My mom has an X250. I've had a T420, 520, a W520, W530, W540. I've owned a lot of ThinkPads, and I've been able to get in with Lenovo, and I've been reviewing ThinkPads, and this is a brand new, and there will be a review I'll be doing of this soon, of the new X390. So look forward for that. But if you notice on here, there is no easily removable battery. Now the battery is obviously removable, but it's not something that you can just swap out on there. And it seems like the attitude towards that has been very negative. And I don't quite understand the negativity other than just being mad at change. And the reason why I say that is I've owned both of these laptops for a significant amount of time, over a year. The X250 is the laptop I really use when I travel. In fact, I just took it on a road trip with me, and didn't use it in the car, but used it at a hotel. We were visiting some family quick. I used it to show some pictures and things like that. I literally plugged it in and charged it before I left. I did bring my charger with me. I watched the movie at the hotel. I saw my family for a couple of hours, showed them some videos and pictures of my kids, things like that. Drove home and still had plenty of battery life. I never charged it. Not once. Now, my model does have the internal battery and the external battery. Modern laptops, if you get a good quality one, have a battery life of anywhere from 6 to 10 hours. Now, that does change if you're using something with a dedicated graphics card like the Y740 I reviewed a few months ago. It had like a 3 to 4 hour battery life. But that's a very different beast. If you're talking about a typical, what I can say, a non-desktop replacement, a portable or ultrabook notebook, or even want something like this. This is a $170 Asus laptop. This will last me 10 hours, easy, if I'm not doing anything too crazy on it. If I'm just browsing the web and watching some YouTube, thing like that, 10 hours on its battery. And it's, it has a very small battery. So, with modern laptops, unlike older generation laptops, you just don't need as much battery as you used to. And you're not needing to swap out batteries like you used to. Some of the old laptops I had, they had great battery life at 2 hours. I can go an entire workday and never plug in with my work laptop, which is a Dell, and I hate it. It's a terrible laptop, but I have to admit that with its 8th gen Core i5, that battery will last me 7-8 hours. As long as I'm not doing anything too crazy, I dim the brightness a little bit, things like that, turn the power down on it. It will last me an entire workday. It's not an issue. And so needing to swap out your battery like you used to have to even just get through half a day of work isn't a requirement anymore. We also have these wonderful things called power banks. Now, I don't have one big enough for charging a laptop, but I have a bunch of these ones that I've been given over the years for charging cell phones. And whenever I go on a trip, I keep one of these with me. I charge it before I go, because if I'm using anything, it's usually my cell phone to take pictures or videos, make phone calls, do navigation, whatever, and it's my cell phone battery I burn through, so I make sure I have a couple of these sitting around. The cell phone I have now, Moto G6, does not have a user serviceable battery. I can't pull this out. And just about any new phone anymore is the same way. Now I can take this phone apart and replace the battery if it were to go bad and I'm no longer under warranty. It is something that can be replaced. It just isn't something that can be easily swapped within a matter of moments. But this was a $170 phone. In 2 to 3 years, when the battery starts no longer holding a good charge, I'm going to replace it. Now, a laptop I'm going to keep a lot longer than the cell phone, but the battery will last me longer than a couple of years, and it's easier to replace than it is in the phone. There's 4 or 5 screws, 6 screws, something like that, to take the back off. It's a clip and 2 or 3 more screws, and I got the battery out and I can replace it to a battery that will last a long time again. And now, so I just looked on Amazon for a Lenovo branded battery. You can pick them up for about $64. Now you have to remind yourself though that when you have a battery like this, it's really only half the battery, because remember the other half is already here in the system. So when you replace this, you're only replacing half your battery life. For a similar amount of money, you can buy, and I just grabbed a well-rated one for a similar amount of money. In Anker, it's a brand I know, it's got good reviews, it's $5 more, but you can charge your laptop 2 to 3 times off of one battery. Plus you can charge your cell phone, a camera, you know, any other accessories you may have, you can charge off this. So you can get another, say you can get 2 cell phone charges, a laptop charge, and a camera charge out of this during your day. If you're somebody who is using a laptop battery to that extent, to where you're swapping out the battery, you're probably also using your cell phone that much. You're probably also using a camera that much. Say you're at a conference or an expo or something. You're going to, one of these is going to be a lot more valuable to you than a replaceable battery. Now this isn't for my Lenovo's. I actually have a replaceable battery for my ThinkPads. I just spent half an hour. I have no idea where it is. That's how often I've used it in the couple of years I've owned these, that I honestly have no idea where that battery is. This is from a ZBook. That's the other problem is I have a bunch of old laptop batteries that are no longer good or just barely good. And what am I going to do with them? I have to pay to take them to a recycler and get them recycled. The person that I sold these laptops to didn't want old batteries, right? So I get to deal with them. The other thing is a lot of laptops are now using to charge off a USB Type-C. This X390 is no different. It charges off of a USB-C. It used to be that you had to have a different charger for everything. So if you're bringing, like I have some old Nikons, they don't take a USB standard charger. They take a proprietary charger. Cell phones used to take proprietary chargers. The laptops all had proprietary chargers. These all have that square charging port on there, right? And so you used to be carrying 3 or 4 chargers, and a charging cable could be pretty hefty, and a battery would be lighter in that case. Thinner, lighter, easier to carry. But that's not the case anymore. Everything's USB-C. My phone, USB-C. Laptop, USB-C. My 25th anniversary can be charged off the USB-C. And so now, once again, something like this is extremely valuable because you can charge your cell phone, laptop, and even your cameras off of one cable, right? So you're actually reducing what you're having to carry with you when you're out doing stuff and are in need of something like this. The cost, having a non-serviceable battery actually reduces the overall cost of the systems. You're not getting necessarily better battery life because of that, but it is keeping prices lower. And laptops, especially, are an extremely competitive market price-wise on the Windows side. Apple's are whatever. People will pay whatever for those, and I've never understood that. But on the Windows side of things, they are very competitive price-wise. So anything they can do to bring that price down, obviously they're going to do it. They just are. The other thing is, and I have a cheap crap Dell here that I've been doing some stuff with, and I have the motherboard out of it. with having the battery be something that is non-replaceable, that means they can put it wherever they want. So in this particular laptop, and a lot of these, they've actually moved the battery to the front of the machine, where in the past it's been in the back, so it can be slid out the back, right? So they can move it for better cooling, they can move it for better optimization of ports, system boards. So like this laptop has no daughter board, so a lot of these have the main board here, the removable battery, and then they'll have a daughter board here with a long cable going across. That's extra complexity, that's extra cost to the system. But having internal battery removes that extra cost, adds to the simplicity of the system, and decreases the cost of manufacture. And again, this battery will probably last the lifetime of this laptop and never need to be replaced. When I look at this laptop, in fact, let's go ahead and open up these laptops, since I got them here. I actually haven't even powered this one on yet. I don't know what's going on. I just got it right before I left on my trip. Like, it showed up just a few hours before I left, so. Alright, so here's the X250 open. We have obviously the cutout for the battery. We have the other battery down here at the bottom. We have the system board that goes all the way across with the cooling fan that I need to dust out. And so there's the two battery split. Let's take a look and see what it looks like on the inside of the 330 here. Or yeah, 390, excuse me. Alright, so on the X250, between the two batteries, you get essentially two 24-watt-hour batteries, so 48 watt-hour. On this laptop, let's see what you get. So you get the same capacity of battery, so 48 watt-hours, but you can see the difference between the two. This one is much more simple, much more clean. You're not having the split between the two, which allows for what looks to be a much more robust cooling system. I mean, that's a significantly bigger fan and radiator on that. Even though I believe these run cooler. Now this system has other issues that I'll talk about in an actual review, since basically the only thing that's replaceable is the storage. I do not believe you can replace the memory on this at all. I'll have to double check that. But so yeah, this is the future of laptops. I mean, it just is. And to me, it makes sense. Old removable batteries are obsolete. The reason for having them doesn't really exist anymore. Batteries have significant battery life. There's external chargers that will charge all of your devices and not just your laptop. And that's the other thing. To charge these, you have to have it in the laptop and plug the laptop in. I know very few systems where you can have an external charger for your laptop batteries. I have seen those, but they're typically very specialized systems. You know, you have to put it in the battery, you have to charge it, you have to then take out the battery, put in your other battery, charge it. You know, and that's extra stopping, where with an external charger that you can just plug in, like that one, and I don't know anything about this. This is just an example I found on Amazon. It just makes more sense to me. This is more convenient. It's easier to do. To replace this battery, 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, and 1 wire. I mean, it really isn't anything to replace this battery if this battery were to ever fail or go bad. You know, if you have this laptop 4 or 5 years, and I've had laptop batteries last much longer than 4 or 5 years in a system, you know, when it does go bad, you can replace it. It doesn't take much effort to do it. It really doesn't. So, yeah, I'm not against this change in laptop design. I'm just not. There's other things that I find reprehensible, like soldered on memory is ridiculous to me, and soldered on storage is ridiculous to me. Now this one is removable, but some of the other ones, like this Dell, the storage is soldered onto the motherboard. There's no replacing it. And the memory for this laptop, I believe, I'll have to double check, but I believe it is soldered on to the system board, and you cannot replace it. And that to me is a much bigger issue, because if you have problems with something, it's usually your storage, your memory, or your CPU that you can then swap out and fix. So, or later upgrade. I'm upgrading a laptop for somebody, and I'm upgrading the storage and the memory to bring it to be more current and give more life to an older system. So anyways, those are my thoughts. I don't know what you think about that, but you know, this is of all the things to gripe about with modern laptops, having batteries not be replaceable is not a gripe that I think is worth having. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.